So that was the king. But now, here's the prophet. The prophet was Jeremiah. His name means whom Jehovah has appointed. He was a prophet, and so therefore the prophet took the word of God from God to the people. He would give the messages to the people that thus saith the Lord. He was called, anybody knows what he was known for being called as? The weeping prophet. He would cry, and he had a lot of sadness, and as he gave the message that God gave him, it was a burden, and he cried, and it was sad. So he was this, the Bible calls him in chapter 9 and chapter 13, it talks about him being a weeping prophet. He was also called the lonely prophet. It is said in chapter 16, verse number 1, saying, "Thou shalt not take thee a wife, neither shalt thou have sons or daughters in this place." He was always crying, and he was always lonely. He was just a prophet. He was a lonely prophet. He had what he had, and that's about it. He had God, but in man's eyes is what I'm trying to get. In man's eyes, he's just a prophet. But I want you now, let's go back to Jeremiah chapter 37. And I want you to start to see something begins to happen. Now, remember what I said on Sunday morning about what was the first soil? You remember the name of the first soil? What was the characteristic of that soil? Sudden now, it's starting to break. And it might not be next week, but it might be the week after. The same person who you brought to church may say, "Pick me up for Sunday." So don't get into the mindset that pray now unto the Lord our God for us. Say what? Nobody in your staff, including yourself, listens to me, but you want me to pray for you? Say, "Preacher, what do you think is happening?" Follow ground. He obviously assumes God listens to Jeremiah. I have a great question for you. When was the last time someone asked you to pray for them? I'm not asking you when was the last time someone stood up and said, "Church, pray for me." I'm not asking you that. I'm asking you, when was the last time someone came to you specifically and said, "Pray for me"? And next question. When was the last time an unsaved person came to you and said, "Pray for me"? When was the last time an unsaved person looked at you as their only way to God? It's Jeremiah. That's Jeremiah. We have Jeremiah. Zedekiah says, twist. It's weird. It kind of takes this weird twist. So now it says in verse number 4, let's get it so we get the context. "Now Jeremiah came in and went out among the people, for he had not put him into prison.